You tell yourself you want more money, more confidence, more discipline, a better life. But somehow, every time you get close to becoming the person you said you wanted to be, you pull yourself back. You procrastinate. You overthink. You lose motivation. You suddenly find 100 reasons why now isn't the right time. And the strangest part? You may genuinely believe you're trying to succeed. But somewhere beneath your conscious thoughts, your brain may be doing something completely different. It may be protecting you from the very success you're chasing. And once you understand why, you'll start seeing your own behavior differently. Because sometimes, the biggest obstacle between you and your potential isn't your circumstances. It's the story your mind has learned to believe about you. Here's the uncomfortable part. Your brain doesn't necessarily care about making you successful. It cares about keeping you safe, predictable, and psychologically comfortable. And those three things are not always compatible with growth. Think about it. If you've spent years believing you're not disciplined, then suddenly becoming extremely disciplined creates a conflict. If you've always seen yourself as someone who isn't confident, suddenly speaking with confidence feels unfamiliar. If you've repeatedly told yourself, "I'm just not good with money," then building wealth challenges an identity you've carried for years. Your brain doesn't only process information, it also builds patterns. And when a pattern becomes familiar enough, you can begin defending it without realizing it. This is where self-limiting beliefs become dangerous, because they don't always sound like negative thoughts. Sometimes, they sound reasonable. I'll start tomorrow. I need to learn more first. I just don't have enough time. I'm waiting for the right opportunity. People like me don't really succeed at this. None of these thoughts automatically mean you're sabotaging yourself, but when they repeatedly appear at the exact moment action is required, pay attention. Because procrastination isn't always laziness. Sometimes it's avoidance. And avoidance can be a way of escaping discomfort. Imagine you've always wanted to start something of your own. You spend weeks researching. You watch videos. You plan. You create strategies. You tell yourself you're preparing. But you never actually begin. Why? Because preparation feels safe. Action creates uncertainty. And uncertainty creates the possibility of failure. The moment you actually try, your identity is exposed to reality. You could fail. Someone could judge you. You could discover you're not as good as you thought. And suddenly, doing nothing feels safer than finding out. This is one of the most subtle forms of self-sabotage. You don't have to consciously destroy your progress. You simply have to keep choosing comfort over confrontation. And your brain will help you justify it. But there's something even deeper. Sometimes people aren't afraid of failure. They're afraid of what success would require from them. Because success changes expectations. If you become disciplined, you can't keep using "I'm just not disciplined" as an excuse. If you become successful, people may expect more from you. If you become confident, you may have to stop hiding behind insecurity. If your life changes, you may have to change with it. And psychologically, change can feel threatening even when it's positive. This is why some people repeatedly return to the same habits, relationships, environments, and behaviors they've spent years complaining about. Not because they enjoy suffering, because familiar discomfort can feel safer than unfamiliar possibility. Your brain knows what to expect from the old version of you. The new version? That's unpredictable. And the brain tends to prefer predictable. So how do you break the pattern? You don't start by screaming positive affirmations at yourself. You start by questioning the beliefs you've been treating as facts. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not capable of this," ask, "Is that actually true? Or is that simply the identity I've practiced?" When you think, "I always procrastinate," ask, "Do I procrastinate? Or have I repeatedly trained myself to escape discomfort?" That's a completely different question. Because identity feels permanent. Behavior is changeable. And the moment you separate who you are from what you've repeatedly done, you create room for something new. Start small. Keep promises to yourself. Do the uncomfortable thing before you feel ready. Take action before confidence arrives. Because confidence often doesn't come before action. It comes from evidence. Every time you do something you told yourself you couldn't do, you give your brain new evidence. And slowly, the old identity begins losing its authority. Maybe your brain isn't trying to ruin your life. Maybe it's simply trying to protect the version of you that it already knows, but your potential lives outside that version. And that's why growth can feel uncomfortable. You're not just changing your habits. You're challenging an identity. So the next time you hear that quiet voice telling you, you're not ready, you're not capable, someone else can do it better, maybe you should wait. Don't immediately believe it. Pause. Question it. Because sometimes, the voice telling you to stay where you are isn't the voice of truth. It's the voice of familiarity. And familiarity is not the same thing as safety. You don't need to become a completely different person overnight. You just need to stop automatically obeying the version of yourself that was built from your past. Because your past may explain who you are, but it doesn't get to decide who you become.